What is going on, everybody? My name is Early here, and what I have here is very special. This is pretty much what pioneered what MacBook Pro is today. This is the very first MacBook Pro. And the crazy thing about this is that I got it for about $15, and apparently it's supposed to be in really good shape, but look at this. There's already a big hole on the packaging here. Looks like it's been flattened at some point. I've been looking forward to this laptop for a very long time because this is such a perfect laptop to talk about the history of Apple switching from PowerPC to Intel, and now they're switching to Intel to PowerPC. We have a gazillion peanuts here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pluck it out, and it looks like it doesn't have battery, which is exactly what the owner or the seller said in the description. Make sure we don't scratch the laptop. And moment of truth. This is very clean. I'm genuinely surprised by how good of a condition this is. Except for the bottom, you can see there's a good amount of grooves and scratches here, and that feels like a dent right there. The rubber feet seems to be in good shape. These are actually very infamous for melting off. These first generation Intel MacBooks, they run hot, like super hot. If you guys don't remember, 2007, 2008 MacBooks are very infamous for having a failed graphics card because they run so hot. Oh, that is very clean. I'm genuinely surprised how clean this is. Obviously, we don't have a battery. There's really no chips on the plastic edges here, which are very known to chip over time. It looks like there's a scratch or a crack on the webcam. I don't know if that's a scratch. Yeah, that feels like a crack actually. I got an 85-watt charger here. Let's see if it starts up. Yep, we got a green light. And there you go. That's a pretty dim display. There's actually a lot of yellowing on the edges too. Now this is my very first time experiencing the very first MacBook Pro. And so I am very much looking forward for this one. And we have the welcome screen. Oh, that is as bright as it goes. And it's pretty dim. That's always great. First things first, looks like this is running 10.6. Oh, just 10.6. I'm having a lot of trouble trying to connect to my internet today. So what I have here is the fully maxed out version of the early 2006 15-inch MacBook Pro. We have a 2.16 gigahertz Intel Core Duo, not Core 2 Duo, Core Duo. Now, if you guys don't know what the difference is, Core Duo is 32-bit dual core, and a Core 2 Duo is 64-bit. Keep that in mind later in this video because that's going to be very handy. Basically, the reason why this computer was obsolete 4 years down the line, and this has 2 gigabytes of RAM, which is the maximum. And we're gonna go ahead and see how much storage does this thing have. I believe it says 100 gigs according to the, oh, it has 500 gigabytes. Huh. Well, it looks like someone has upgraded this at some point. There's definitely no option for 500 gigabytes of storage back in 2006. Now, what makes this computer very monumental in Apple's ecosystem is the fact that this was the very first time where Apple switched from PowerPC G4s into Intel. And so the Intel Core Duo was the very starting point of the name MacBook Pro. It's crazy because at the time, this would have cost the very first owner, whoever owned this before, about $4,300 in today's money. That's over $4,000. And imagine that, and only being able to use this fully 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, because of a very big limiting factor, and that is the CPU itself. Unlike the 64-bit Intel Core 2 Duo, first of all, you can't upgrade the RAM to more than 2 gigabytes. You also can't upgrade the Mac OS over 10.6.8, which was already obsolete by 2015. Late 2006 model years have been shipped with Intel Core 2 Duos. In just a matter of maybe 6 to 8 months, Apple updated the processor to the Intel Core 2 Duo, which was very much usable even today because of its 64-bit architecture. The fact that this is a 32-bit is such a limiting factor in so many ways, and you can't even really properly run even Linux or Windows on this computer because those operating systems also don't have any support for 32-bit. If not, they don't really have a proper support for a 32-bit system. This is pretty much a dead weight at this point. Unless you're just trying to get this for something to be fascinated by or some historical artifact, this is very much useless. Trying to actually use this in 2024 and onwards, that's a big no-no. Let's go ahead and go to every Mac. Come on, buddy. You can do this. Show the world that you can still connect to the internet. Very slow, but it's definitely doable if you have a lot of patience. Go to the MacBook Pro here. Come on. You got this. Yeah, this is going to take a very, very long time. The very base version of this computer is a Core Duo 1.6 gigahertz. That's probably something you don't want. What I have is the custom to configure order. I believe what the difference is the clock speed. So this was back in the day where clock speed really matters. The highest end was 2.0 gigahertz, but this is a custom order for that extra 100 megahertz. That's something back in the day that people really care about, is the gigahertz. Nowadays it doesn't really matter. It is loading. You give it a few seconds, or I guess this time a minute. We can go to the Apple official website, and it's connecting in a way. So we have officially loaded the Apple website. Now, from the videos I saw as back as 2018, 2017, they were basically saying how this computer is unusable. Honestly, this is surprising how it's able to load a website. We can even go to the Vision Pro, which is the latest and greatest from Apple at this moment in time. Again, I had to give it a couple of seconds to load. Not even seconds, a minute to load. Now, it doesn't look like the website's properly loaded.
Apple
That
Vision
is
Pro.
cool.
The era of spatial computing.
It's not loading properly, but you can see it. It's loading on a 2006 MacBook. Those speakers sound surprisingly punchy. Okay, let's go to YouTube. Alright, this is running hot. I could generally feel it running hot. It's running 240p on YouTube, but I'm trying to click the quality settings and it just isn't working properly. You could play the video, so I gave it a couple of minutes to load. But it's like at a very low frame rate and less than 240p, definitely. And I'm trying to get it to load to 720p at least, but that doesn't seem to be the case ever. Yeah, it just isn't changing. That works. But if we click Explore Trending Playlist, it just refuses to load. But at least you could somewhat play. Last but certainly not the least. So what I have here is a game that I acquired. I'm just gonna see if it loads, and I'm hoping it's not going to get stuck into the CD-ROM, or I guess you could say optical drive. It just spit it right out. Okay, so that's not usable. There's clearly something wrong with the CD-ROM on this computer, but that's okay. Internet usage on this is very limited, if not almost impossible. They do load, but you do have to give them so much time. And this thing runs hot, like holy crap. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait, what? I didn't know the ambient sensor was in the speakers. Now remember earlier in this video where I mentioned these first generation MacBooks having some problems with whining noises? Well, this computer is actually showing the same exact symptoms from 2006. You can hear slight whine. After cleaning this up, you could see how good of a condition this computer really is. Very small scratches. I mean, there's a small nick here, right here, but other than that, there's no dents that you really can see. Again, this is a 2006 model computer. The hinge works well. The locking mechanism works. For some reason, it does still. It's only the bottom where you could really see the most wear. There's also no battery. I can't really get rid of these little spots right here. You could see that it's really in the screen. What I'm presuming it is probably scratches from the keyboard itself. It just has embedded into the display over time. In conclusion, I think this computer, as sad as it sounds, is obsolete. The design of this computer is fantastic even today with its 10 bezels, and it even has an iSight camera. This is the first MacBook to have an iSight camera. There's so many revolutionary things about this computer that we use today, like the MagSafe. You know, that was brought back because of that USB-C fiasco from Apple years ago. The keyboard is fantastic. Apple went back to that in the recent M-chip MacBook Pros. We got everything here that we still use a lot in 2024. This computer is really a perfect example of the problems with first generation products, is that their life are always going to be a lot shorter than what it is later on. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been looking forward for this video for quite some time. I was like very eager to wait on this $15 MacBook for some reason. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Now, if you guys don't believe me that I got this for 15 bucks, it says $4.95 right there.